Okay. And you mentioned the indigenous language of was it the Aztecs or the Mayans?
Both of them.
Both of them. You said it was connected to an old Hebrew.
Ancient Paleo-Hebrew.
Ancient. So does that mean that that language that was indigenous to what Mexico and Central America is today was a Semitic language?
Yeah. So what the schools teach you is an indoctrination. You get inducted into this indoctrination of what they want to call you, or what they tell you that you are. So, for instance, our people get called Hispanic, right? So Hispanic, not knowing what that term means, we call each other Hispanics, but that was under the Spaniard captivity. When the Spaniards came in 1492 and, raped, robbed, and pillaged, the people of Mexico, how they knew you were under that captivity was by calling you an Hispanic, how you belonged to a family of a Spaniard that took you worked on their plantation, you were given their last name, like my last name, Ayala. That comes from whatever captivity my family got taken into, and maybe we have to work on fields, whether it was picking, tobacco or whatever that family had us doing. That's what we did. Now Latino is different. Latino is under the Grecian captivity. That's if you were Latino, or how they differentiated the both of them is Latino actually meant that your bloodline dated back to a Grecian or a Greek, and people that are from down south, Guatemala, El Salvador, just South America, they're not Latino. Their dads aren't Greek. We're still of this brown race. Like they call, black people or African Americans that are here now Africans, and they're not from Africa. They actually just got taken into captivity in Africa while fleeing Israel. Africans are Hamites. They're from the tribe of Ham. So they're just a different people, and that's why people in Africa don't accept the blacks that are here, the so-called blacks that are here in America, because they say those aren't our people, And history, they won't teach you. In my era, they taught us a little bit of Aztecs and Mayas and Incas, just a little bit, but they never tell you how our people got here. They'll never tell you. We came from somewhere. They'll never tell you, how we read the stars. We used a thing called cenotes, which were these ponds, reflection ponds, to read the stars. While Columbus was looking up at the stars, trying to read them, trying to find these holy people that had a blessed land that was promised to them, full of riches and rich soil and all this and that, he was looking up at the stars, and he didn't know how to use geometry using the reflection ponds, and that's how we got here. Our real name is not Aztec, it's Issachar. That's our real name. They gave us the name Aztec because it means people of time, because we kept time in numbers. And so that's where that came from. So it's really important to know your history,
Now, are any of your tattoos reflective of that ancient culture?
Yep. One of them is the high priest right here, which you would...
All right, Shalom, Makyam. All right, it's the high spirit wind Judah of the GMS Mississippi camp, giving all honor and glory to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashur, Kakudash. I also want to give double honors to our apostles, great millstone, who rule well, and peace and blessings to the house of David the elect. Now, this is a video sent to me, all right, by the elder Yakal from the GMS Arkansas camp. All right, and I just want to do a quick video on it, right, because it pretty much goes into what we teach, and Jake goes off with the tattoo and, but, he pretty much has the gist of what we teach. And that's that not only the so-called blacks, but the so-called Hispanic and Latino and Native Americans are the Hebrew Israelites as well, all right? And mainly he was focusing on the so-called Hispanics and Native Americans, right? Because your identification, right, how you identify yourselves is basically, all right, an extension of the Greeks being in rulership, all right, started from Alexander, all right, and they reframed reality, all right. So they started calling countries after Greek names, all right. Then it went to Leo, Scipio, Africanos, all right. Then it went to, other names, but basically it went back to the Greek or Latin, all right. Then, fast forward to Spanish conquistadors, all right. They basically came to the Americas, all right, and reframed the identity, all right, of the Northern Kingdom. All right. Prior to that, they were basically Hebrews. Okay. So let me get that in Genesis 49. Nope, that's not Genesis. What's that? what's that? It's that Psalms 49. Let me see if that's Psalms 49. Psalms 49. All right. Yeah, Psalms 49 and 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They called their lands after their own names. All right. So, in one aspect of that, all right, all of the countries in America, most of the countries in America or in the Americas are named after Edomites, man. All right, Columbia, and how many cities, all right, are named after Christopher Columbus, man. Columbus, Ohio, all right, even in Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi comes from Andrew Jackson, all right. But furthermore, all right, not only that, they took they took the people who they conquered and named them after the conquerors, man. Whether it's the Southern Kingdom or the Northern Kingdom. All right, so the English in America had the Southern Kingdom oppressed, so we were called after our English possessors. But the Northern Kingdom were held captive, all right, by the Spaniards, all right, mainly the Spaniards, man, all right, and the Portuguese over there in Brazil. So they were called not only by Spanish names, but the offspring ended up speaking the Spanish language. That's where you had boarding school with the so-called Native Americans, man. You were forced to speak the language of your oppressors, all right? And the end result was what? You're going to discontinue from your heritage, man, all right? But, obviously, the brother that was speaking, he got his information from one of the counts, man, or some of the counts, but basically this is another token, all right, that we're almost out of here, man, all right? So I'm going to get this real quick, then I'm going to just close it up. All right, Baruk2 and 30. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. Who is this stiff-necked people? The Israelites. Today will be called the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right, they were a stiff-necked people, because although the Most High gave us laws, statutes, and commandments, we still disobeyed those laws, statutes, and commandments and went over into idolatry, which led us to other types of abominations. All right, and the end result was that we were sent over here to the Americas, all right, to suffer punishment temporarily, all right, based on the actions of what we did in our homeland, Jerusalem, all right, and what we call as a so-called white man is really Esau Edom, which is used as a chastening rod by our Heavenly Father, all right, for disobeying the laws, statutes, and commandments over a period of time in our homeland, all right. Baruk2 and 30. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stick-necked people, but in the land of their captivities shall they remember themselves. And this Israelite, he remembered himself. He knows that he's not an Aztec. He knows that he's not a Hispanic, all right? He knows his identity is not framed by another nationality of people. It doesn't work like that. You have your own nationality. He knows his biblical nationality, man. And that's another sign that we almost out of here. So, that was an inspirational video. I hope you brothers and sisters were, edified. And once again, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Shema Shai, by Baruk2 Hakodash, double honor to our apostles, great millstone, Ruel. Peace and blessings to the house of David the elect, Abba, Kamesha Allah, Shalom.